Ortega. Welcome back. Today we are going to continue in our printing center. I want to show you something called monoprinting. And monoprinting is a little bit different than the printing we did last week, in the last two lessons, because a monoprint is a print that just is made one time. Each print looks different than the next. I made some before I started filming. This one was done with markers. And then these two monoprints were done with paint. And what we're going to need to make first to get started is we're going to need to make a printing plate. And to make a printing plate at home, we are going to use foil and we're going to mount it. We're going to tape it onto a piece of cardboard. And this is going to be our printing plate. So you're just going to cut a piece of foil, then you're going to attach it onto a piece of cardboard, and then you'll be able to actually reuse this. I've actually already used this a couple times. I was able to wash it off with a wet paper towel, and then you can make something new. So you're going to need your printing plate made with foil. You're going to need some paper to print on, any kind of paper you want. And then you get to choose if you would like to use your paints. If you have any paints at home, you could use paints. Or if you would like to use your markers. These markers work really well. Permanent markers won't work because they will dry onto the foil. But these type of markers, regular markers, do not dry on the foil, so they will you'll be able to make a print with those on your piece of paper from your printing plate. Some optional materials you might need or want to use, play around with. I like using leaves to make some leaf impressions, like this printout I did. I actually use leaves to use that, to make that. And then if you want to take away some paint, you could maybe use a Q-tip. I used a Q-tip for this before I made the print, and or you could use like a paper towel, anything to wipe off some of the paint before you print your paper on it. So why don't you go ahead, if you want, make your printing plate, or if you'd like to watch all the video first and then you could learn how to make it and then go ahead. I also have the Google slide attached to a link on the bottom of this video so that you'll be able to get all the instructions. All right, I'm going to show you first how to make with our printing plate using the paint, and then I will show you how to do it with the marker. To get started with the paint, you're going to get your plate ready, and then you get to choose however many color paints you have available that you would like to squirt onto your plate. I this time will use some brown, so I'm going to squirt some brown on my printing plate, and next I'm going to pick my pink and I'm going to squirt my pink on. Next we need to ink. We're going to ink our printing plate, and that means we're just going to spread the paint around so that we'll be able to make a print. So I'm going to go ahead, you might have a better way, but I am just going to go ahead, use my fingers, spread that around, and then maybe I'll use these fingers to do my brown. And then you can blend if you want. Go ahead and just paint it the way you want your printing plate to look. Now, your printing plate should be all inked up. I'm gonna wash my fingers, and then I'm gonna show you how to make a design on here and make a print. Okay, so I am going to show you two different ways. First I'm gonna take off some paint with my Q-tip. So I'm going to make some design. Make sure you're pulling off paint so that you have like a white mark. and then it will not print in that area. And then I'm going to show you what happens if we add our leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these, just place them wherever you want it to be white. So wherever you have the leaf, the paint will not print onto the paper. Okay. All right, so I have my leaves up here. I took away the paint down here. Now I'm going to take a clean sheet of paper. Got my clean sheet of paper. I'm going to place it right on top. I'm going to press down, make sure I get all the areas. And then when I pull my sheet up, I'm going to pull my print. This is going to be a mono print. It cannot make any, you can't make the same one twice. You can only make one. It's a mono print. Okay. So you never know how it's going to turn out. The leaves, I can definitely see where the leaves were. And the squiggly lines, actually maybe I had a little bit too much paint. I can see a little bit taken off there. If you would like, you could do another print. And this print, I'm going to take off my leaves. And this will be its second print. And sometimes the second print turns out even more interesting. I think some people call it a ghost print. But I like doing it with the leaves. Let's see. So I'll put another piece of paper on. There's still ink on here, still my paint on there. And maybe I will put, I'm going to make another drawing that I'll probably be able to see this time. And place that on, rub it. And I'm going to pull it up. There. And here is my second mono print. And there's actually still some paint on here. I could try one more print, and I'm going to make more squiggle lines. As long as the paint is still wet, you can use it. And this is going to be my third print. Let's see what happens. Wow, there you go. My third print. Okay, so before this dries completely, I'm going to go ahead and get a wet paper towel, and I am going to wipe this up. All right, your printing plate is all clean. Now I'm going to show you how to use markers to do your mono printing. So I'm going to color wherever I want my plate to print, and then I'll put the paper on and we'll be able to get a mono print. So I'm going to go ahead and color different areas of my printing plate with my marker. Whatever design you want, it doesn't have to look like anything, it can just be color. See what happens. You never know, it's always a surprise. Okay. So my printing plate is all inked up this time with markers. I'm going to place my paper on it, right on top. I'm going to place it, and just like before, we're going to rub it. Make sure you transfer all of the paint, all the marker onto the paper. And then we're going to lift it up, and we have our monoprint. You will never be able to make the same monoprint twice. Okay, that's all there is to it. You can make as many monoprints as you want with markers, paints, and then just a very simple printing plate that you can wipe off and reuse as many times as you want, which is super cool. And I love printing. It's one of my favorite centers, and I hope you enjoy all these printing exercises at home and that you have a good week. Bye.